All right, we are here at Marathon Park Ice Arena, sitting rinkside for this week's episode of the Inside Cyclones Hockey Podcast. And for the first time this season, we've got our first in-person rinkside interview for a very special edition of the podcast. And I'm joined by a very special guest. He's a goaltender from Muskegon, Michigan. After playing high school hockey at Reeds Puffer High, he tendered with the Wausau Cyclones 3 years ago. Currently in his third year with the team, he's been lighting it up on the goalie tandem. Last year had 21 wins in 28 games with a 228 goals against average and a 925 save percentage. This year he has 7 wins in 17 games played, a 343 goals against average and a 941 save percentage. And on top of all of that, most notably, he celebrated his 21st birthday yesterday. Tanner Bonjernoor, welcome to the Inside Cyclones Hockey Podcast. Thanks for joining me rinkside. Happy to have you here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Before we dive into any hockey talk, anything related to hockey, we cannot rush over the 21st birthday. How was the day? How was the celebration? And did you have your first official beverage as a 21-year-old?
I did. I had a margarita at the glorious La Taqueria, and
Oh my God.
it was delicious. But no, I celebrated with the guys on the team, and it was very memorable. And I wouldn't want to spend it with anyone else.
I think I was talking to some other guys just generally about who's 21, and I think you're the first one.
Yeah,
correct?
I'm the only one during the season that will turn 21 this year.
That's crazy. I was always the opposite of you. I was always like the youngest person in whatever, like the grade I was in. Like I was the last to get my driver's license, last to turn 21. But like now being around all you guys, I feel like unk around all these people. It's crazy. But that's a birthday to remember, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, you only get one 21st birthday, so.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, so obviously you're going to talk a lot about everything going on with the season this year, and obviously it's your third year. You've been around here for a while. But before we dive into all of the talk with, playoffs coming up, I want to go back a little bit, go back to high school hockey and how you ended up here with the Cyclones in the first place. So turning the clocks back a few years, when you were wrapping up playing in high school, how did you get connected with the Cyclones? How did you end up starting your junior career here in Wausau in the first place?
I got in contact with our goalie coach, Taylor Carey, at a camp in Michigan. And I ended up actually playing for one of our scouts in Michigan during the high school season. So I didn't know he was with the Cyclones at the time, but throughout time and coming here, I eventually learned that he was one of the scouts, and I saw him during high school. But our goalie coach, Taylor Carey, reached out to me and invited me out and got everything rolling here.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, to have the connection that early on, play with a scout, and it's almost like, because you said you didn't know it at first,
No.
that almost like takes the pressure off a little bit because you're not thinking about like, oh, I got scouts here, I got to play, a little extra to my normal. Like you can just, do your normal thing, do your normal routine, and impress whoever's watching and I mean, that's how you landed your first in what would turn out to be an awesome opportunity playing junior hockey. So it's a cool way for everything to start. I know this is kind of in reverse order, but I thought of something I wanted to ask after. Before all, high school hockey and the Cyclones and all that started, how did you end up in goalie gear for the first time? How did you start playing goalie? Like, I'm always curious. I had Fail on the pod at one point, and I asked him the same question. Like, how does somebody end up playing goalie? Like, how does that storyline go for you?
I truly don't know the exact answer. I think I was just a stubborn kid that didn't want to skate, and I want to just be on the ice, but I didn't want to skate, so I just stood there. I didn't realize at the time how much skating there is to being a goalie. But yeah, I think I was just a stubborn kid. I was a goalie in soccer and lacrosse. I was a catcher in baseball, so I've naturally always drifted to that position for some reason. But just trying to go against my parents, I think, a little bit.
If there was a terrible sequence of injuries, next weekend, and you guys were down like 5-6 forwards, and Oisty tapped you on the shoulder, he said, I need you to suit up as a forward. I need you to suit up as a skater. Would you be able to hold your own? Do you think? Like, would you be able to play a solid game out on the ice versus in between the pipes?
My ego says yes. Truthfully, I think I could. I don't know if I'd win every puck battle, maybe win one puck battle, but I think I could hold my own in some cases.
Would you be a forward or a defenseman?
I think I'd be a forward.
Yeah?
I want to go hit guys.
There you go. That's awesome. I feel like that's another thing I always want to ask goalies, because I saw this like social media highlight thing the other day that was talking about some goalie that got to suit up as a forward for his last game, and like he scored a goal. It was like this awesome thing.
There's a college hockey goalie.
Yeah. Super cool stuff. Well, not that I'm ever hoping that people are getting injured, but fingers crossed, some miracle puts you out on the ice as a forward for at least one more game. That'd be hilarious. All right. Okay, so getting back into the Cyclones. So you're playing in high school. You got, scouts that are working with you without even knowing it, and then all of a sudden you end up here playing. Going back to like your first years where, the roles kind of reverse to what it is now, where you're kind of the vet. You've been around the longest. What was it like, stepping into this rink for the first time, playing with the older guys for the first time? Like, what were your initial reactions, your initial experiences to getting to play for the Cyclones in your early years?
My first reactions, I think, were definitely it felt like home. I didn't come in and I felt like I was in no man's land. The guys in the team, and especially my vet, who was Kyle Lemansky from our first year, was a fellow goalie. He really
had him on the pod a few weeks ago.
Yeah, he really took me and Brady under his wings and showed us the ropes and was a really good leader for us. So from the start, I felt like Wausau's been a second home.
Yeah, and do you feel like those thoughts have been confirmed? Like, do you feel like that, initial interpretation has come to fruition, like you felt more and more at home here, and like almost you've been able to return the favor now that, like I said, you've pretty much switched all the way over to, like, I'm sure the new guys that came in this year, you're almost doing the same thing,
Yeah.
New guys and younger guys in general, but like even more specifically, like a guy like Brody Kunst, who's, added himself onto a tandem with you and Brady Fail, who've been around here for a while. Do you feel like that's almost switched over to where you're kind of taking new guys under their wing?
Yeah, I definitely have tried to kind of take that leadership role and show guys the ropes, because I want them to enjoy it like I enjoyed it, and I'm still enjoying it, because for a team to win, for a team to be successful, everyone has to push the boat the same way. And if everyone doesn't enjoy it and people don't show up to practice every day and enjoy it in games, then you're not going to win. It's going to be a tough season for everyone. And so I've tried to just help make it enjoyable for everyone.
It's awesome. It's cool to, like I said, I know I keep saying this over and over again, but it's like at one point you were in that same position that all these younger guys are in, and then now, it's a complete flip. It's a complete turnover to where you get to, influence all these new guys that are coming in. So definitely a cool experience.
Yeah.
Something that I'm sure you'll be able to look back on, when you move on to whatever comes next in the world of hockey and just the world of life in general.
Yeah, junior hockey is definitely something, if you have the opportunity to do. You can work the rest of your life, but you only get so long, and the opportunity is not there forever. So if you have it, take it.
Yeah, it seems like all you guys are close. I mean, we got guys skating up behind the camera. We got guys looking at us over there. It seems like everyone's just here to, skate with one another, work hard with one another, and have some smiles and some fun in between, which is
Junior
awesome.
hockey life is very enjoyable. It can be very enjoyable for sure.
That's awesome. All right, so correct me if I'm wrong, but the first year you were here, that was the Central Division Championship year, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just turning the clocks back to that year, talking specifically about the hockey, what was so special about that group? What was so special about that team that, made you guys able to win a division title? And, for you, what was it like to be a part of such a dominant team right from the get-go?
The biggest thing to me about that year was we were so close as a team. There's not one guy on that team that wouldn't stick up for the next, and that's probably the closest hockey team I've ever been on, from youth to high school. Just everyone wanted it every day. Practice, workouts, bike room, even just hanging out. We were together. Everything was together as one, and it was really special.
And then, I'm going to obviously come back to that specific year because I want to talk a little bit about the postseason and just everything from that awesome year. But going back to like more bigger picture, that just immediate, work ethic that was there, like the immediate, just common knowledge amongst everyone that everybody knew that they were working for one common goal. There was one thing that everyone had their mindset on. Do you feel like you were able to take that mindset and kind of move it forward into your second and even this year where you have new guys coming in and you're able to take that mindset and almost push it and preach it to new guys that come in?
Yeah, definitely trying to learn how to keep that same mindset, but not hold on to last year's team because it is a new team and we have new guys, but trying to push the same message of we have to be a team because if we're not a team, we're going to struggle.
I'm completely changing the subject here. When we sat down to do this interview, we were chatting about how this isn't the rink you guys play in. This is just the one you practice in, and you're like, it's freezing in here. I'm freezing. It's so cold, and I can see you're shivering a little bit too.
Trying not to, but
When you guys are out there, like, are you unfazed because you're moving because you're working? Maybe not the goalies because you're standing still.
My fingers in this rink are freezing all the time. Like I'll take a puck to the palm of my glove. I'll wince in pain.
I can't even imagine. Yeah, I'm sitting here like my hands are turning purple. It is chilly in here.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't ever have the heat on in here. I don't even think it's been on for like youth hockey games.
That's insane. All right. Anyways, so great year your first year. You guys, clinched the division. And then another good year last year. And then you guys are well over 500. You're fighting for a really good spot in the playoffs. What's it meant to you to be a part of a winning culture every year that you've been here? Like, just how meaningful is that when you're going to look back on this experience that you were a part of a team that was contending and well over 500 every single season?
It's a ton of fun, and it all starts with the coaches, Mizey, Taylor, and Oisty, and they're the biggest role because they come every day and with the mindset of we're going to get better today and there's no other excuse. And whether it is practice or a workout, they show up committed every day, and that pushes us. And it keeps us moving towards the goal that we want, and that's really the biggest thing is the coaches. Coaches are the make or break.
How much do you feel like, maybe not even just hockey, but just life in general, like how much do you feel like you're going to take away from this experience, more so from getting to learn from guys like Oisty, Mizey, and Taylor? Because, each of them, they bring such a unique coaching aspect to the table. Like, you look at Oisty and his experience in the AHL and the NHL and, like, all the professional hockey that he's gotten to play. And, you look at Mizey and, his experience having, been in a very similar situation with you guys. How much do you feel like you're going to be able to pull away from just every specific situation and, leadership type of role model that you've learned from all these coaches?
I'm going to take away so much. Oisty, Taylor, and Mizey have taught me a ton about being a better hockey player, but they've also taught me about being a better person, a better friend, a better teammate. And hockey is a lot on the ice and stuff like that, but it's a lot more than just playing the game. It's a family. You learn how to work with other people, and that's one of the biggest things. I've learned how to not expect everything from me as well. I have to understand, I have to share the role, and when I have to share, it's someone else pushing me to be better too.
Definitely. And it's cool to, from a outsider looking in, that's always the phrase that I use, because, like, I'm here for every game. I'm, watching everything and, like, almost on, like, part of the team in a way, but, like, I'm like a step back. I'm kind of watching everything from afar. And it just seems like there's so many different things that you can learn from these coaches and the individual experience that they've had. And then taking it a step further, somebody like you that's been around for a while, you can take that stuff and you can even, pass it down to younger guys from a different level and, help these, younger players learn a lot of different things about themselves and about the way that they play and just about the importance of what it means to be a part of a group like this. as they, start to move through the same process that you already did?
Yeah, it's making sure they know that every day is a process. Not every day is going to be a great day. You're going to have leaps and bounds, and you got to understand that there's a lot bigger picture than just today or just yesterday's game. And understanding that practice is practice. It's not Saturday or Friday. It's not a game day. So if you do make a mistake, it's whatever. Just take a deep breath and don't let it get to your head and ruin the rest of your day or practice.
All right. Want to focus now a little bit on this specific season, and we're going to keep rolling through these questions because we're both freezing sitting here in this ice-cold rink. But this year, you guys, there have been some ups and downs, obviously, weird starts to the season, but it seems like over the last few weeks, you guys have really found your groove, and you're starting to set a staple as far as what the expectation is for how you guys can play and how you guys can be a contender in this division as you look forward to the playoffs. From your perspective, as a veteran, as someone who's been around and gets to watch from in between the pipes looking forward, what do you feel like has worked so well for this team this specific year and the success you guys have had?
We're definitely starting to find our groove and find the, I don't want to say form, but find the way of hockey that works for us. And we're definitely finding that and getting the wheels moving, and guys are filling into their spots and starting to take a little more of a role in helping out other guys. And that's probably the biggest thing is we're more support for each other. And so guys are not scared to make a mistake because it's going to be an odd man rush their way. They've got support from their teammates and defensemen and stuff like that.
And do you think that, not that it hasn't been like this over the last few years, but do you think that, specific mindset that you guys are in this year and your ability to, help each other work harder and just everything that you talked about, do you think that's going to give you maybe a little extra bump in the playoffs this year that you guys maybe haven't had in past years?
Yeah, I think so. I think we definitely have every piece that we need to go all the way this year, and right now we're getting that mindset ready for playoffs, and we have 2 weeks left till playoffs, but from here on out, and even starting a couple weeks ago, they're all playoff games.
Absolutely.
Every game's harder. Every check is going to be finished. It's just how it is.
So, talking about the playoffs, I know, it's obviously not the most ideal situation in the past. I don't exactly remember what happened your first year, but last year you guys have a great season and then a tough first round. And it's looking like, the teams that you're going to face, it's looking like similar teams you've seen in the past in the playoffs. What's the key from your perspective to succeed in the playoffs this year, to get over the hump that's been struggling early on in the playoffs in the past? How do you guys think you're going to be able to beat these playoff demons in a sense and get through this hump and potentially make it all the way to St. Louis?
Putting our head down and grinding. Playoff hockey, especially in the Central Division, we're one of the most well-rounded divisions in the NA3. There's not very much of an argument
Absolutely.
for that. And
everyone says it's like the best division in the entire league.
Yeah, there's not much of a.
And I mean, you look at the standings this year specifically. Obviously, I don't really the last 3-4 years it's been pretty similar, but the 2, 3, and 4 teams are almost copy paste record. Like everybody's the same. It's so tight.
Yeah, like every game is a playoff game, even from start of the year. Every game's hard, but the biggest thing for us is getting our head down, grinding. Rochester does a good job of finishing all their checks, so we have to be ready to get hit. We got to make that play, but you have to be ready to take that hit, and just got to be physical. And physicality will win you playoff games, and that's what we need.
And talking specifically about Rochester, because that's a very feasible matchup. That's a likely seeding implication. You guys have them in the building this weekend. What's the key, and how big is it going to be to try to steal 4 points this weekend when, you already said it, like it's already playoff hockey in a sense. what's the biggest way you guys can start capitalizing on momentum already and, pull 2 big wins away this coming weekend?
Um, Getting what we get and running with it every inch and just not giving them anything. When we play our Cyclone hockey, teams don't get a ton of offense. We come back to the middle very well, and that will also be a big thing. Just playing hard and coming back through the middle. If we can do those things, there won't be a problem.
Like you said, I mean, the playoffs almost feels like they're already starting. There's 2 big games this coming weekend, and then last 2 regular season games, not this weekend, but the next weekend. And, I feel like by the end of this weekend, we'll kind of know what the seeding is going to look like. I feel like after this weekend, you have the best idea of where everyone's going to be. And then, all of a sudden it's time to start thinking about how far the team can get and how long the run can be, which is definitely exciting to think about.
Yeah.
As we start to round things out here, I want to talk a little more just about you specifically and your career. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is your last year, correct? Because you've been here for 3 years, and there's a certain amount of time you can play juniors. Do you have, any idea what happens next? Do you have goals, aspirations for your hockey life, your personal life, as far as, what the journey is going to be after leaving Wausau and your awesome 3 years here?
I love hockey. It's been a part of my life for forever. It's gonna be hard to give it up, but I think I'm ready to start other aspects of my life and start moving. No, I don't say on because I don't think I'll ever give it up. I'll definitely play men's league and stuff like that. But
all paths lead to beer league. That's what everyone says.
They sure do.
All paths lead to beer league. I mean, I'm sitting here. I've never skated in my life, and I've been working in hockey for a few years now, and I'm like, damn, I might have to put on a pair of skates. Learn my way, play on a low division beer league team. I mean,
it's fun. Hockey's for everyone, and whether you're young, old, it doesn't matter. You can find your group, find your team. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah. But anyways, I kind of interrupted you with the stupid beer league comment.
No, you're good. You're good.
But just whether it's hockey or not, what do you think? Like, where do you see yourself going after this season ends?
I want to get my pilot's license, so start figuring out the path to get that and start working towards that.
Nice. That's awesome. Cool. And then, I don't want to get too bittersweet because there's still 2 more weeks of hockey. There's still the potential for a nice deep playoff run. But are you starting to, reminisce and think about how awesome your time's been here? Are you starting to kind of have the thoughts of like, this has been a really beneficial 3 years for me, and are you starting to have feelings of being grateful for it?
Every day, I'm thankful for my time in Wausau every day, for the people, for the rink staff, from the commentators, from you and Zach and in the front office, and just everyone here, all the host families and stuff. Everyone's made it so special, and I wouldn't have wanted to be anywhere for the past 3 years.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's been, I've only been here for this first season, but it's been so cool to watch all you guys gel together as a new group, considering a bunch of new guys came in this year, and it seems like everybody really cares for each other, and there's just one common goal, and that's to go win as many games as you can and chase down making a deep run in the playoffs, which is exciting to think about. Just a few more questions for you, moving away from, talking about the Cyclones. Did you follow Olympic hockey at all? Did you watch, the generational Team USA run? Did you get to, follow all that awesome hockey over the last few weeks?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch Best on Best again. It's been a long time since we've truly had Best on Best, but it was a lot of fun. Sad to see Crosby, even though he's a Canadian. Sad to see him get hurt, but
definitely. Did you see they announced this morning? Minimum 4 weeks. He'll be out.
Did.
It's definitely a bummer for the Penguins. But that was some of the coolest hockey I've watched, and I've been watching, and I've been a fan of hockey for a while. Just to see Team USA gel together and see them put together the coolest tournament run and take home gold. And, even though it didn't work out for Canada, like I'm a Colorado Avalanche fan, all those guys that were on Team Canada, Cale Makar, Nathan McKinnon, to see them get to play at the best on best level again. It was so cool, and just, I mean, that apparently won't come around for another 4 years. So definitely,
Unfortunately, yeah.
definitely cool to appreciate how cool that hockey was. Are you an NHL fan outside of, just watching best on best? Are you a Wings fan if you're from Detroit? Is that
I'm a Red
is that
Wings
the case?
fan.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Dylan Larkin had a good tournament.
He had a great tournament.
That was awesome to watch.
He got the wheels going almost every night.
I know. Do you have high hopes for them? They're pretty high in the Eastern Conference. I feel like they're on the come up. They've got, Patrick Kane. He's a generational American player.
Yeah, he is. He's definitely a generation and someone that I grew up watching on the Blackhawks. But I have high hopes. I do every year. Some years more hopes than others, but I believe in them this year. I think we have the team and have the backbone of goalies to do it. So
I think that's one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference right now. If you ask me, I mean, just how complete of a game they play. They went out and got a goaltender recently, and that's one aspect of just their team in general that's significantly improved, and it was an issue in the past. I mean, the Avs have already played them twice this year, and that's obviously the team I'm watching the most, and they're a solid team. I think they're going to end up in the playoffs this year, which hasn't been the case in the past, and I think they're going to be a really fun team to watch.
It'll be exciting to watch some Red Wings playoff hockey again. I don't remember the last time I was able to sit down and watch Red Wings in the playoffs. So,
well, it's very exciting, and we've got a lot to look forward to, whether it's the rest of the NHL season or much more notably the rest of the Cyclones season. We're both freezing our butts off here. We're going to wrap things up. Before we go, do you have anything you want to say to the listeners, anything you want to say to everybody that's tuned into this week's pod?
Thank you guys all for your support on the podcast and coming to the games. You guys are the seventh person on the ice. You guys truly are another supporter and the reason we enjoy coming to the rink every day.
All right, Tanner Bonjernoor, thank you so much for joining me on this week's episode of the podcast. For the first time, and hopefully not the last time this season, I know time is winding down, but we are here rinkside inside Marathon Park Ice Arena. Thanks so much for joining me, Tanner.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we're going to kick it to break. For everybody listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all that, hear from a few of our sponsors, and we'll return in a few minutes to wrap things up here on this week's episode.